Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the July 2025 Library Board meeting, called to order at 5:30. Item 2, public appearances. There are none. Item 3, approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the June 2025 minutes?
I'll make a motion.
I'll make that one.
Thank you. All right. Any clarifications, changes, concerns with the meetings or the minutes? If nobody has anything, then all in favor of approving the June 2025 minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Item number 4, financial reports. May I have a motion to approve the April 2025 financial register and overviews?
I'll move
Thank you, Ken.
for approval.
All right, so I'll go over a couple of things. First is in account 240 on the register. There is a charge there for overhead door company that is actually from 2024. We had a lot of work done on the garage, and I'm guessing this invoice just got hung up on their end, and we did not get it until very recently. But it's too late to put it back in 2024, so it will live here forever.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Paid when it gets paid. Yep.
Wanted to point out in 310, we had a pretty high charge for shipping toner, so Gordon Flesh toner there. That is because we switched over to all the new machines, so of course all the toner is different, and so we had to, they ship the old stuff back and then get a whole new round of it. So it's usually like $750 each time we need toner, but that was a little bit bigger. And then at the very bottom of the register account, 5515510. So we have Tony boxes, the storage containers, and then a whole bunch of playaways. So this was money the friends gave us from end of year giving last year to do that audio collection and youth. In the overview, the only alarming thing that I see that is not a surprise is the utility account is already 55% spent. So we're going to overspend that this year. We did it last year. It's happening across the entire city campus, so it's not just us. But that is probably one that we'll have to true up at the end of the year with probably revenue from interest that we didn't expect. So.
Interesting. Do we know why it's happening to all the buildings? I guess for us, we had the hypothesis of the chiller being changed.
We thought it would lower it more than it did. I can't explain this.
Interesting.
Like, I'm tracking every bill that we get from MG&E, and I just got one 2 days ago that is 10,000 kilowatt hours less than the month before, but $1,000 more expensive. So it's just the time of day, the use.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the one you get at home. Like, you can't
Right.
never
We're
fully
open during
explain.
peak hours and stuff. Yeah.
But I was really hopeful. I think the one that we got the month before was probably lower than we should expect. But I got my hopes up that we were going to go the rest of the year that way. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. It's It's not a surprise, it's happening to everybody, but we'll just want to keep an eye on it. That's everything I have. Does anybody have questions?
Okay, if no questions, all in favor of approving the April 2025 financial register and overview, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. 5, unfinished business. There is none. Number 6, new business. So are we just doing discussion today, or do we need to approve this?
We should approve it.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the 2026 budget?
Draft budget.
Draft budget. Thank you.
So moved.
Thank you again.
All right, so this is a new document for, I think, some of you. It's a confusing document for everyone. So this is the way the city does budgeting. This is the form they always use. We use our own version just to kind of keep things separate and have a kind of a double check. But this is the form that we use for this process. There is both the teeny tiny print one, the Excel file that has all the numbers in it, and then there's a narrative that is done in Word, which is kind of ridiculous. Anyway, so probably when we look at this further down as we go through the months towards getting this approved, you won't see the narrative. I want to always include it one time so you can kind of see what those bigger accounts are split into. It's really good for that. So seeing under software how much it's going towards different things. And I think the 290 account of contracts is interesting to see kind of how it's split out between different things. I'm just going to go through and touch on a couple of things, and then I will take all the questions that you have. As I said in my email, a lot of these numbers are not final. So this process is just in its very beginning stages. Misty likes the library board to see it at this point before it starts going through the various steps of going to the finance director, city administrator, it'll go to the mayor, it'll eventually go to the finance committee, it'll eventually go to council. It will come back to you, you'll see it again. Probably won't approve it again until it's done after council approves it. But you'll definitely see it between now and then. All right, so I'm going through the teeny tiny print one. The property tax levy is probably the big thing that is not final. They have estimated net new construction at 2.5%, but that is not finalized by the state until August. So there was talk of it being 2.3, 2.5. This is lower than we have had in past years, so this is not great for us. It gives us about $60,000 additional revenue. Then the next one that is in green, this is kind of the whopper. This is the net county payment from Dane County. We heard from Dane County Director Tracy last time about this, so that went down drastically. The actual payment went down $30,000. It looks like $40,000 because last year she had proposed adding another reimbursement for programming. And we had budgeted for it, and that did not go through the county budget. So we knew we were going to be $10,000 under when it came to this year, but then we had that $30,000 reduction. So that's painful. Another one that's highlighted in green that I wanted to point out is Madison Community Foundation, our investment. So we have a endowment with Madison Community Foundation. They have always offered us to draw on the interest of it. We did that the first couple of years when budget was tight, and then stopped doing it when we didn't need it, but we are back to definitely needing it. So that $4,000 is an estimate, but it's been about that for the past couple of years, and interest has been good, so I assume we'll end up right around there. I don't see big changes in the rest of the revenues. As I pointed out in the email also, so says here in the last line of revenue that we're using $235,040 of fund balance. So when we get to the bottom number here and it looks like we're overspent by that much, we have to subtract that out. I forget that every year and panic when I'm trying to make this, and then I remember and everything is better. All right, so going down into the expense accounts. All of the salary and benefit numbers come from Misty, so she calculates all of that as including COLA raises and merit raises. So that's all included. You'll see some kind of big jumps there. Longevity goes up, but it's a very small account, so I don't know that that's huge. Health insurance is, of course, always a big one. Disability insurance is an interesting one because we haven't actually paid premiums on that in probably 6 years. We've been on a premium holiday, they call it, but we budget for it every year because certainly they'll come back at some point and charge us. But that may be another place that we have money that we doesn't look like we have, I guess. Per diems. I kind of want to talk about per diems at the end of this, if that's all right.
Sure.
We'll come back to that. Okay. Moving into the next section, which is contracts. That first one, that 6,000 in green, this is terrible. So we're going from 19,000 for this is work done by others. So when overhead has to come in and fix the garage door or the front doors don't open and we have to call someone. If Harker needs to come in and work on things, this is an account we've got that is not planned service, but kind of, I used to call it unexpected repairs, and the city didn't like that, so I changed the name of it, but that's what it is. We had nothing in this for a long time. We kind of learned our lesson. We've been building it up over the years. This is. I don't feel good about this one going down to 6,000. I could only get 6,000 for this account by taking it out of maintenance supplies and custodial supplies. So none of that is great. I think we can make it work if we have to, but I don't love it.
What do you mean you can't take it out, but the one accounts, or what?
So we have in the past had 19,000 in this, 6,000 for custodial, 6,000 for maintenance supplies.
Okay.
So now we're down to 2 and 4, if you'll see down in 350 and 360. So one of them is down to 2,000, one of them is down to 4,000. So I took 6,000 from those two accounts combined and put it into this one after I took it down to 0, if that makes sense. So I'm just kind of moving money around here so that we have money in different places. I don't know that any of it is really what we need, but I don't know that we have an option either because we don't have enough money to go around.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, except for, I guess, yeah, 6,000 seems low compared to how things have realistically been.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think realistically, you look at this, if we overspend this 6,000, then we hope we have not spent money somewhere else in the budget, and at the end of the year, we even out. It's not a great way to do it. It's not how I would like to do it. This is the reality of that we can't get more of an increase than we are getting. It's better than cutting staff.
Sure.
It's better than cutting collections. I don't know. I don't love it. The hope here is that as we go through this process, net new construction maybe comes back a little bit higher, or Misty has numbers that need to go in here for insurance. I made up numbers with like a 3 or a 5% increase. Maybe those will come back a little bit lower. There's always a chance that something, it goes on for months for a reason. Like as numbers get finalized, then we kind of look at things.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, this was just the line that stuck out as worrying to me.
Yeah. No, I hate that.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Not a lot of changes in the other contracts. Going down then into just operating costs. Here's another one that should be higher that isn't, and that is utilities. So we are on the road to overspending this year. We overspent last year. I would like to put this at 84,000. I don't have 84,000, so I have it at 74,000. We'll see. Library collection. I guess what I should start with is the really good news is that the salaries is not higher than it is. I had expected to need to add a half-time position to meet standards, and then redid the calculations with Tracy from Dane County, and because they did add in the self-checks as a 0.25 per self-check FTE equivalency, we are now over 23 FTE, so we're good for, I hope, a couple of years. But collections, we are not. Collections need to go up to 186.5. So that's not a huge increase. And frankly, I like to see money go there, and I would put more if I could, and I usually can't. So I'm not sad about that one. So then the last 3 green numbers down here in allocated costs. So these are things that we pay to the city, and they just are not finalized. So Misty had those blank, and I put in 2 of them are at 3%, 1 of them is at 5%. We'll see where that turns out. I just wanted to be able to use this to have the Excel function of this actually work in total. So if you look at the bottom, we're at 259,923 overspent, but you subtract the 235,000. And we're about 24,000, I think, overspent. So that is very normal for this time of the year. I have certainly brought the budget to the board at this time of year and been overspent by 60 or 90,000. So it's not awful, but there are a lot of things in here that I've already cut that maybe in years past I would have tried to hang on to for a little longer. So we'll see. You'll see it again. I'll keep you posted.
Can you help me with the math? there?
Yes.
The total revenues for the 26 budget shows 2.795.
Yes.
And total expenditures 2.820.
So I think that's going to be the fund balance in there. Throwing that off.
So
Don't understand why it works the way
The
it does.
259, I mean, if you subtract revenue from expense total, it's not 259.
Here I am without a calculator.
About 25,000.
Right. So after you subtract that out, 25,000 is the deficit that we're currently at. Is that how you're reading it?
And what are we subtracting out?
If you take 259, 923, which is overage, and subtract 235, 040.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always want to look at that 24,010 over there as if that's what we're short, but that's not what's.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you have to do an extra piece of math, which seems
Okay.
like it shouldn't be, but it is. Then to the narrative. Are there any other questions on this before we talk about the narrative? It's a lot, I know. The first year I had to present this after working here for 3 days. So I always feel like I know more about it now than I used to, but it is still confusing. And I have hidden some of the columns on here because I think it's too much information, but we do go through and look at where we are halfway through 25 to see if that can help us. And this shows the 24 and 23 actual expenditures. This actually includes 3 more years before that. So when I'm doing that, I can go through and kind of average like what we've spent.
Yeah, and see what's trending up or down or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
right. So there is a little bit more to this, but I think when you include that all in a document, it just gets completely overwhelming. I typically hide it from myself when I start and then open it up back and see if everything is making sense and then hide it again. Yeah, I don't, there are a couple of accounts in here that I really don't feel good about, mostly that repairs by others. Otherwise, this is in much better shape than I expected it to be at this point, so. Going to the narrative then. A couple things I did want to point out. So if you look at account 325, training and staff development, we're at $4,000 there. We've been at $4,000 for a number of years. We used to have 6, and we used to split it, $3,000 from the Friends and $3,000 from the library. That got cut out a number of years ago. The $4,000 is entirely from the Friends, which I think is really good for us because it means that it's protected. We can't take that out because that's a donation, and it's a donation for a specific thing that we asked them to fund. Same thing for kids programming in 340. I did go to the Friends meeting last week. They give us something we call annual giving, which is both of these things, travel and training, programming for kids, mostly for summer reading, and then a director's fund, so I have a little bit of money to do things for the staff throughout the year. And that has been at $7,500 for about 10 years. So I went to their meeting on Monday and showed them where we were looking at with the budget and asked if they would increase that to $9,000, and they agreed. So that's good news, and we appreciate that. I think everything else is just kind of a duplicate of what you're seeing in the Excel file, except there are a lot of Misty's numbers in there are not filled in. That doesn't calculate anything, so I don't bother with that one until. This one doesn't add or subtract, and it makes me really mad when I'm working on it. But it is a nice, for the accounts that have a lot of different things in it, it works well. What questions do you have before we talk about per diems?
On page 13, the last page of your narrative.
Yeah.
So there's a couple items there that for 26, you've got $Misty?
Yes.
Means you're waiting to get information from,
Yes, so she needs to update those. She has updated the administrative fee to 255,000. I think that is reflected in the Excel file.
okay.
But the city technology allocation, allocated assurance, and city technology have not been updated. So those are the ones that I increased by either 3 or 5%, just to have a guess, and then we'll see. All right, per diems. I'm going to give you the history of per diems, and then we're going to decide what to do with that account. When I got here, the board had decided that the library is nonprofit and that they didn't have a budget because we didn't have a library. And so they had agreed as a group early on that they would waive their per diems so that it wouldn't affect the library budget. They wouldn't have to take it out of the library budget. And we continued that right up until, I would say, 2022. We had a board member who really felt like there might be some people on the board that needed the per diem, and so then we left it up to each member to say whether they wanted it or not. I was doing the math as if everybody was taking the full thing, so we're budgeting like $2,000. We've not spent over $500 in per diems, so I'm sort of stuck in this. I don't know how people feel about it. I don't want to put on any of you whether you get paid or not, but I don't know what to do with that budget. I have it right now at $1,000, so like half of what we had last year. I don't know what your feelings are about that. I don't feel like it's something that I can choose for the board, if that makes sense. So.
Okay, so, all right, so, but we do have the trends of how much this was used somewhere.
What?
Sorry, I'm just going back to the line item to see
Yeah.
how that actually looks, because I don't want to put people on the spot.
I know. I know. So this isn't something you need to vote on. This isn't a decision we have to be made. It might be enough that you know that there's $1,000 in there. If you want to give me direction to put the full amount in there, I will do that and cut somewhere else. I feel like it's a discussion that was had every year for a long time, and then it wasn't, because it was putting people on the spot, which is obviously not what we want to do. Generally, it's a decision that's made when you do orientation for the board or you do your paperwork with the city. I think that at that point, nobody has any idea whether people are waiving or not waiving, or even if that's an option. I'm not a part of that process that goes through the city, so that just throws another sort of wrinkle into it. So I feel like with how things have gone recently, I'm comfortable putting $1,000 in there and just letting people decide on their own. And then we can respond to that in coming years if we see that more is needed.
Okay, so $1,000 is still double what we've typically spent.
Yes.
I think that's a reasonable first step.
Yeah, I think,
Seems like,
From my experience.
I don't want to not have anything in there because I think it's
Right.
valid for, other
Yeah.
commissions.
Yeah,
take
right,
the-
right. I mean, I guess I would say from my experience from, signing up and doing this,
Yeah.
it was very clear whether that was an option. Like, I don't think there was any
No.
ambiguity about whether we could or could not do that, so.
What you did or you didn't think?
No, I didn't think so. Yeah, it was very obviously like, hey, you're doing this, here's the option.
Okay.
Obviously, they didn't say, people are doing it or not doing it, but
Right.
I also,
It's an awkward conversation, no matter how you go about it. I'm fine just leaving the 1,000 and we'll see how it goes and we can adjust year to year. Is that okay with everyone? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, then we're good there. Then I think that's everything that I have to say about the budget at this point. Any other discussion?
if worse comes to worse,
Yes.
and these numbers are, say, even lower, what do we think are the next steps?
I mean, there's not a lot of, I think at that point we're shaving off of almost every account.
Sure.
Like, I think you get into the position of taking $50 off here and $100 there and just nickel and diming it until you get to what you need.
But then there's some of them, like the collection that's kind of like, it sounds like is the minimum right now.
Right. I mean, like staffing, we can't touch.
Staffing can't.
Collection,
right,
we can't
exactly.
touch. Contracts, we can't touch because that's all set. So we're looking at operating costs. So postage and train travel, we can't touch. Vehicle expense, I took that down 1,000 because we didn't spend anything. We haven't spent anything this year. But, you're always, I will say also, we generally have savings in salaries and wages and benefits. It's been less in the last few years than it was previously, I think, because we increased our pay rates. So especially with shelvers, we used to have money left in the shelving account because we didn't pay enough to keep people, and so we had vacancies all the time. And we hired people that maybe didn't have as great attendance as we do now that we're paying well. So we don't save as much money there, but there generally are vacancies throughout the year and some savings there.
Sure.
And generally, the thought is, as long as we don't overspend the entire budget at the end of the year, we're okay. We do have to, then at the end of the year, the last few years, we've had to write memos about if we're more than 5,000 over or underspent somewhere, that we have to explain it, which we are always able to do. So I feel like you don't know exactly where your expenditures are going to be, if it's going to be a building problem that comes out of 290 or it's going to be something else. So typically, we're fine. We've put money into fund balance every year since I've been here, so we've never actually had a crisis
Sure.
so far.
Yeah, like,
Why would I say that? Like, of just
Right.
crisis.
and I guess, talking about some of the stuff, obviously I want people to get paid a reasonable wage and
Yep.
stuff, but it seems like during COVID, we had to do big boosts, and maybe now
Yep.
they're, 2025 to 2026, we're not going to do a, 25% raise to get people in the door.
No, I don't think so. So that was like a whole salary study where they redid the entire pay scale.
Sure.
And all we're looking at right now is COLA and merit raises.
Sure.
Because the city is in the same spot that we are. So, and we
Yeah, I mean, that's.
I don't ever want to go away from
tax is the big thing
matching
now, and-
what the city does. I know in some places, the library staff are paid much less than other departments, and I don't want to get into that situation. So I mean, if things come out worse than we expect right now, I mean, they may come out better too. So, I mean, I've had budget years where I had to, at the last minute, like very last minute, in the next 30 minutes, can you put $19,000 somewhere? Like, yes, I can. I can always do that.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah. Hopefully it's that year, that kind of year. I don't feel like it is, but you never know. So, yeah, so as you're approving this, like, this is a very rough draft. This is very early
Right.
days. You're not saying that this is final. It's just that you're acknowledging that you've seen it as it's going into the process.
Yep. Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, looks good. Okay, if not, let me get back to my agenda. All in favor of approving the draft 2026 budget, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Number 7, President's Report. Nothing new from me today. Thank you, everybody, for attending. The weather was a little bit of a mess, but it looks like it cleared up first today, so that's nice. Item number 8, Library Director Report.
All right, statistics, it's been busy. You'll see the door count is up to 12,702, and it feels like it's busy in a really good way. Like, everybody seems happy, summer reading's going well. Maybe a little less happy this week because of the parking situation, but we're getting through it. Programming is up, as it always is in June. Yeah, things are going really well. All right, facilities. You can see the parking lots under construction. They took it out last Thursday. It was fascinating to watch. They put it back in yesterday, also fascinating to watch. They thought it was not going to be striped until next week because of rain coming and going, but they got it done this morning, so it will reopen tomorrow. Yay. Yeah, that's going to be a week. That's fantastic. Second floor refresh update. The contract has been signed with Findorf to take down the wall. They have ordered the custom stain pieces to match the casing that's already there. And it looks like we're looking at early September. So we'll have to put up visqueen and block that off. And I think they're planning on 4 or 5 days of work, which is not bad. So I'm looking forward to that. Personnel, we hired 3 new shelvers. They have all started and been trained, and things are going really well. So we're caught up. We always get a little bit slammed at the beginning of summer reading, and so having vacancies at that time is never ideal. But we are getting caught up again, so that is good. Strategic planning, the survey is complete. I think we got 430-some responses, which is not as good as we've done in the past, but I think people are so over-surveyed and so over-contacted now that I'm kind of not surprised. We have not compiled them or looked at them yet. I think what we noticed as they were coming back in is that we were sorry we didn't put in a line about what do you like about the library? Sure. A lot of like what you should do that you don't do, and not a lot of like why we love the library. We did do a postcard campaign as part of South Central downstairs on the first floor, so you could write postcards to your legislators to help save libraries because everything's getting attacked on the federal level. And we got the most lovely comments on those. So that sort of made up for it. But note to self, next time we're going to put in like, what is it that you appreciate about the library? Yeah, sure. Just for our own edification.
Positive feedback. Right?
Yes, exactly. So we will be compiling those surveys and going through them and moving on to, and then we're going to start looking at environmental scan for Fitchburg. So that is on track. That is everything for the director's report.
Cool. Item number 9, announcements. The next library board meeting will be at Wednesday, August 20th at 5:30 in the library meeting room. And item 10, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.